I said in my 1941 review that there is only one Spielberg movie that I actually hate, and always is that movie. Oh God, I hate this film, and I feel like I shouldn't. I don't think this is a movie I should be that angry about. I shouldn't be fueled with rage every time I think about it. I shouldn't have to punch myself every time I download a trailer or clip in order to make this review. But I do. I really do not like this movie. Alright, let's get into the story. A remake of the 1943 movie A Guy Named Joe, which I haven't seen. Richard Dreyfuss stars as aerial firefighter Pete Sandwich. Sandish, who's the boyfriend of dispatcher Dorinda Durston. Really? Played by Holly Hunter. Durston is troubled by Pete's constant brushes with death, and so he decides to go on one last mission with his friend Al Yankee. Seriously, what is up with these names? Played by John Goodman, and surprise surprise, Dreyfuss dies. Now in the afterlife, he has to guide a new fire pilot named Ted, played by Brad Johnson, who happens to be falling for the grieving Durston. Okay, so what are my problems with this movie? Well, let's start out with the biggest one. It's boring. Why? Because I just didn't give a shit. I did not care about any of these people. If they got together, if they made it out alive, I didn't care. Richard Dreyfuss and Holly Hunter have absolutely no chemistry, like at all. This is what is supposed to carry the film, because good God, the firefighter stuff is not interesting. And it's not their fault, they're trying, but there's nothing here. We barely know them, they never really have a nice moment while he's alive, and there's no stakes. What are we supposed to care about? Dreyfuss is already dead, I don't really care about Hunter and Johnson, so why should I care?
Ask me how I knew my true love was true. Inside cannot be denied.
Also, Pete doesn't seem to care that he's dead. If you woke up in the afterlife and found out you had died, how the fuck would you react? I'm sure you would be a little more extreme than, huh, that kinda sucks. The tone isn't consistent, the rules of the afterlife aren't consistent, and honestly, even the acting and directing aren't that great. Don't get me wrong, they're perfectly serviceable, but there's no style, no flair. Honestly, it seemed like Spielberg was on autopilot, and I don't like saying that. I'm sure he tried his hardest, but the movie just looks so lifeless and dull. And the actors are just meh, except for Audrey Hepburn as this angel named Hap. She's good, and I like that her white clothes are always clean, but still it's not an amazing performance that saves the movie. Honestly, the reason I think this movie just pisses me off more than any other Spielberg movie is that there is absolutely nothing memorable about it. Even in Spielberg's worst movies, I could remember something. The only part of this movie I thought was the tiniest bit clever was the opening with two guys on a boat. But besides that, I remember nothing. And that's why I consider it Spielberg's worst movie. Yeah, it may not have as many bad stuff in it as something like 1941, but at least that was ambitious. It's sappy, boring, and unengaging, and I give it a 2.5 out of 10. If you saw something in this review that made you think you may enjoy this movie, hey, all power to you. Check it out. But if not, this is a definite skip, and thank God I get to talk about Hook next time. See you then!